Joined by Toby Vogel, who is a political analyst based in Brussels. Toby, good to see you. Simon was saying there is no quick fix to this. I mean, what do you think is an achievable scenario? I mean, when you look at it, sort of freight networks throughout Russia and tying to the continent, they're already congested. I'm sure private companies are reluctant to send in trucks. I mean, there's a capacity issue, and not to mention a safety issue. What can be done?
Well, indeed. I mean, the main issue here, obviously, is that this is an ongoing war, and we have no idea how this war will develop and for how long it will go on. As Simon said there, it's tricky to just ship grain, wheat, and other commodities that usually go through the Black Sea to just ship them over land. The capacities are not there. It's in the middle of a war, and so on and so forth. I think a way out of this would obviously be some kind of guarantees from Russia that it would lift its blockade of the Black Sea ports. There's about 5 or 6 Ukrainian ports on the Black Sea that have large sort of export capacities. But there, the question really is how much Ukraine wants to rely on any such guarantees from the Kremlin.
All right, so if you're talking about the EU looking for certain guarantees from Russia in terms of halting the attack, do you think that the Russians, whether officially or unofficially, will be looking for something in return? The lifting of sanctions, is that even possible?
Well, we've heard comments out of the Kremlin yesterday to that effect, and I think that is a no-go for European leaders. It's been very tough agreeing this last round of sanctions, the 6th, with Hungary in particular, but also a few other member states demanding carve-outs and exemptions, some of which they got, notably Hungary, as far as oil is concerned. So it was very, very difficult to achieve this, and they will not just undo everything that's been done just for the sake of very uncertain guarantees from the Kremlin. Let's not forget that whatever words the Kremlin is willing to offer would have to be matched by action on the ground. Now, the war in and of itself is directly affecting also wheat production in Ukraine. So not only the export, but also the harvest. And so there's really a double whammy that we're facing here.
Since you mentioned oil, I do want to ask you, and going back to this decision that was taken on Monday, I know that the narrative that Brussels wants to sort of push out is this is a serious slap on Russia's revenue. But Russia can very easily sell the oil that was rejected by Europe to other parts of the world. I mean, India, we know, has expressed interest, as has China. So if Russia is still going to get its revenue and the EU is not going to get its oil from Russia, isn't it the EU that's suffering?
There is no doubt that the EU will suffer, especially in the short run. Medium term, I think a lot of this can be substituted, can be sourced from elsewhere. And as far as Russian oil revenue is concerned, selling it to India or China will have to be done at the discount. I mean, China and India now have the upper hand in these negotiations. They know that Russia is sitting on all these capacities that it needs to get rid of. So I cannot see them simply making up for the loss of revenue from Europe. Longer term, I think this will just accelerate developments that have been underway in Europe for a while of moving away from first of all moving away from carbon imports and producing energy that way toward renewable sources of energy, and number 2, diversifying the sources of imported energy. So both of these processes will be speed up really considerably through this latest step.
Toby Vogel, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate the analysis. Some great stuff. Thank you.